Hello, welcome back to episode 3 of the podcast.
Hi.
We have Joe, Ella, and the extremely handsome and definitely straight me.
Joe.
That's
Damn it.
Finn's extremely gay.
Snooze, you lose.
Before we start,
Cucumber.
before we
You
start,
slumber. A cucumber.
Oh my gosh,
shut
no.
up with that. Before we start, Joe, would you like to list off our sponsor?
Our sponsor is the moment when that's our sponsor.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love them.
Both me and Finn have recently got our vaccines.
Second shot.
Second shot.
So they're kind of
And-
loopy,
Or little,
Yeah. Dying.
A little loopy.
and I'm completely not vaccinated, so I'm gonna die.
Also, we would like to mention that Finn got a blue screen when we started recording, so we
Yeah.
have to repeat a bunch of stuff.
That's
And,
why we're quicker
Ella-
now.
Ella,
Yeah,
what
this
did you
is-
say last time? You didn't say that you said that you
No,
were.
I didn't say.
I believe naked
okay.
was the word, wasn't it?
I said it's a figure of speech. I said that I was naked because I have no vaccines and everybody else around me does, so I feel naked to Corona. But then you guys were like, naked. Oh,
Naked.
she's naked.
good. Oh, booby.
Don't describe me.
You say booby, and then you
What
said
do you
that
mean?
describes you.
Out of the three of us, yes.
Oh, that's
Hey.
true.
Yeah.
Booba.
Okay. Okay.
Boobus.
I'm pretty sure Finn has bigger.
You might.
Dude, these look
Oh.
visible to you?
What?
Oh, no. Never mind.
Okay,
Okay.
guys, what's today's topic?
Today's topic,
Clear your throat.
is weird encounters we've had with, either like random people or just like people in general.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Can I start us off?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
So, Ella has already heard this, but Finn hasn't because he got a blue screen.
Yeah, they didn't know what
So-
happened to me until later.
So Finn, this is directed towards you
And David.
Oh, no.
and David.
David Oh, David! My God, David, I'm sorry. I want to
You
apologize in
forgot?
advance. No, I
Wow.
didn't
Forgot.
forget. It took me just like half a second.
I'm sorry, David.
Brain slow. You know how it is.
I didn't forget. I didn't.
I didn't forget either.
I didn't forget.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That vaccine that was really hitting you.
Basically, when I went to LA, and I'm sorry to everybody who lives in LA, but I hate LA with a passion. It's loud, spooky. Many people it is spooky. I don't like it there.
I think you have autism. You have a fear of
Maybe
large crowds.
we don't
What?
know.
LA, even if you're not autistic, LA is just not the best place to be. That doesn't matter.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But basically, you know, like when you go like to like Hollywood or like, you know, and there's a bunch of like the stars.
Swear to God, I thought
especially
you were
around
gonna
that
say
area.
Hogwarts.
Well, like, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's around like that like Chinese theater, right?
I don't know. Probably.
Deep in that, yeah.
But it has like the walkway with all the stars.
Yes.
But basically there's like tons of actually, can I mix two stories into one? Because this
Ooh.
happened in one, like, in about like 10 minutes, all in one time.
A bonus story. Yes, please.
David, you're getting a
Alright,
treat.
so first what happened was we were crowded and we were walking by and this guy was like offering his mixtape to everybody and he was like, he came up to me and he's like, "You want my mixtape?" And he just like puts it in front of me, and like I instinctually grab it because like I don't know. And then I was like, "Okay," and I took it, and my mom was like, took it out of my hands. She's like, "No, thank you," and then gave it back to him.
Poor guy. He almost got away
And the
with
thing
it.
about that is that my dad was like ahead of us, and apparently he took his mixtape and he got it signed. He asked for it to be signed.
I feel like because your dad's kind of like an artist in that way, that he knows that like there's potential, like this could be the best mixtape ever. I gotta get it signed before it becomes really good or something, like well known.
Well, it was quite possibly the worst music I've ever heard.
I really hope
like,
he's not listening to this.
He won't.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Dude, he's too busy making more mixtapes.
Wasn't David like pretty sure he has like he wants to be like a musician?
To be a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, and like he lives in LA.
You know where David lives?
I do.
That's
I'm
scary.
Oh my god! And you forgot who he was.
I did not. It's just all coming back to me now. But you might be dissing on David, so I just want to give a little heads up there.
Well, we said that David was a pasty white kid, right? Which in fact the dude was a heavy black man. So quite the opposite.
I take back my statement.
So my dad, we put it in the car and we're like, "Oh, let's listen to it." And it was like the terrible beat. And then it was like terrible rapping, and then he starts talking about like anal. It was so bad. We were dying. It
Dude,
was so
can you
funny.
send me like a burn of the CD?
I don't think we have it anymore. I think we showed it to you. I don't think you remember. Ant was there. I'm gonna call him Ant.
Ant.
Okay.
I'm
okay with that name. That's
so,
great.
And okay, minutes later, after we're walking forward, there was a guy dressed up as Spider-Man, except he was like green. For some reason, he was slightly green because it was like off-brand. All of them are like knockoff characters.
Arachnid person.
So like we were walking past, me and my mom, and he like got down like almost like his hand to the ground and his legs spread out wide.
Oh, it did the.
And he did like the Spider-Man like hand thing.
Oh,
and he was like,
yeah.
And then he scared the crap out of me and my mom.
How quickly did he do it?
So bad. Oh, it was so fast. I couldn't even register what happened. It was so fast.
Dude,
and all
I think
he heard
might
was
have
like
run
hissing.
into like Spider-Man.
No.
He's got the reflexes of a spider.
And so my story actually, Ella has a very, very similar story.
Yeah,
actually is about Spider-Man.
Creepy enough. Okay, so Joe's takes place in LA. Mine takes place in New York, actually. When I went to New York,
oh, fancy.
My family and I were just walking the streets, and like LA, there's tons of people dressed up in costumes. They want people to like take pictures. Like, oh, you're like Mickey Mouse. Let my daughter take a picture with you because that's cool. I don't know. I don't let people do it. And so
I will.
We were crossing the street, and then there was a guy in a Spider-Man costume, and he was super drunk, so drunk. And he was Spider-Man costume. He was dangling over a light post. Like he had his one hand on the light post, the other like the other arm flailing around with like the Spider-Man hand. What?
Why is it always Spider-Man?
I don't know. They're a weird breed. And so yeah, he's super drunk. And when he spoke, he had the heaviest lisp ever. So heavy. So picture a really drunk Spider-Man guy leaning over a light post, and he's spew, Spidey sense. And my family and I just lost our minds because it was so funny because it was just like the most ridiculous thing. We were crossing the street, a guy, and most of the time, people in costumes are usually coming towards you, like, "Oh, take a picture!" Like, "Oh, take a picture!" But this guy wasn't like noticing anybody. He was just living his best life, super drunk, painting over a light post, just like spew, Spidey said.
What was the first part? The spiel.
Spew, like spew,
Oh,
spew.
spew. I see. I see.
Yeah, I wish I took a picture with him.
Oh my god.
He was great.
Okay. Finn, do you have one?
Yes, I do actually. It's one of the three big cities. Joe's was LA, Ella's was New York, and mine Vegas.
Oh, okay.
I was on a trip with my family this was in the before times, like a month, or no, it was in December, so I guess like 3.5 months before this all went down. And we didn't want to walk everywhere because we're fat pieces of garbage. But we called an Uber and we were trying to get to like a restaurant, I think, from our hotel. But the dude that picked us up was so creepy. The first, he when my mom got into the car, he was like, "Oh man, I know you from somewhere. You're like a supermodel or something. You must be a supermodel, or you're like a news anchor on TV. I know it. You're just." He didn't say hot, but he was like heavily insinuating that she was extremely attractive. I know. So me and my dad kind of like traded looks, but this guy was like, "Oh man, yeah, you're I must know you from someplace, right?" And she's like, "No, I'm like someone who works with medicine." He's like, "No," like he kept pushing it to like an uncomfortable degree. But then after that faded, he started talking about his love for like Dr. Pimple Popper. Anything like skin picking, like he went on cysts for like a solid 20 minutes while we were trying to drive somewhere. Guys...
Oh, I thought he was talking to you like on the street. Oh my god.
No, we were in an Uber.
Oh, so I thought you guys were like still standing there.
No. I guess I should have made that more clear. My bad. But yes, he was our Uber driver. And he kept talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And when we finally got off, I think, now that I think about it, I think it was on our way back from eating, so we were getting back to the hotel to rest. He just wouldn't stop. And so the second we got out of the car, we were just like, "Oh my god, what the hell was that? Who was he?" That was the strangest Uber we've ever taken. But it was just extremely uncomfortable. He was like, "Yeah, did you know that they could like grow with like hair as well?" And I'm pretty sure those are like tumors are the ones that can grow with like hair and teeth and stuff like that. But he was saying that like, yeah, they're cysts, they can grow with hair and something like that. It was awful. It was I don't have the weakest stomach in the world when it comes to talking about stuff like that. Like I can watch stuff like that while I'm eating, but it's just being stuck in a car that smelled like cigarettes with this guy that was constantly going on about this after like complimenting my mom a little too much. It was a strange experience, and I wonder where he is now.
Yeah. Probably still doing the same thing.
Yep.
Probably dead. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, knowing Las Vegas.
Oh god. Hey.
Actually, I have two really good stories about Uber drivers, but I'll just say one of them, and then I can say the other one next round or whatever. Okay, so this one's this is probably the juiciest one actually on my list. So this is before my my mom's boyfriend was here, so it was just my mom that was able to drive me places, and she also had a job, so she had meetings and stuff like that, so I couldn't always get a ride, and I had a after school class I had to attend, so sometimes she couldn't drive me, so I had to get an Uber driver, and this was like twice a week, so I had my fair share of Uber drivers, but this guy. Okay, technically, sorry. It's a Lyft. Sorry, a Lyft driver.
Oh.
My bad. He's a Lyft driver. Anyway, so I got in, and he seemed like a nice guy. He seemed okay, and then he just started like venting to me about how like he hates not Uber. He hates Lyft. Like he's like, this is my last day driving for Lyft. I swear, I never get any of the money. Like just like venting. And
Jesus, poor
I
guy.
was just trying to be like a nice person. I'm just like, oh yeah, like I'm sorry that like does suck. Maybe he says like Uber is better, so I'm like, oh, just maybe stick with Uber and stuff like that. And then he kept asking me questions. He's like, oh, like he was like, I'll get over it or something like that. He kind of just dropped that whole thing, and
Wow, that's
then
fast.
we were just like, oh, so like so my class I went to is at the community college. So he's like, oh, so we're going to community college. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing there? And stuff like that. And I was explaining, like, I'm taking the sign language class and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, so because you got a Lyft, that means you're over 18, right? And at the time I wasn't over 18 and I had to say yes, because if I made my own Lyft appointment and I wasn't 18, it's actually like not, they shouldn't have picked me up then. It's a whole thing. So I had to say, yes, I am 18. So he's like, oh, so you're 18, right? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he's like, oh, so, but you don't have, like, I remember distinctly, he kept asking, like, oh, so do you have, like, I'm assuming you don't have a car either. I'm like, yeah, nope, I don't have a car. He's like, oh, well, I remember when I was 18, I loved going to the desert with my friends and stuff like that. And then he I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. And then he completely changed the subject to like, oh, so do you have a boyfriend? And I was like,
oh no.
Excuse me? I was very baffled. I was like, no, I don't. Okay. And then right when we got, like, then he kept talking about how like, oh no, okay, I remember now. So yeah, he's saying like, oh, so do you have a boyfriend? I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, what? You're such a beautiful girl. What are you talking about? You should totally have a boyfriend and stuff like that. I'm like, haha, okay. And then we finally got to the place and he like parked for me to get out. And he's like, oh, so do you have like an Instagram or something? And like, thank God I don't have an Instagram. So like I didn't have to lie. I was like, oh no, I actually don't. And he's like, oh, like why do you don't? And I don't know. I just said I don't know. And then I just slammed the door. I was like, okay, bye.
Oh wow.
Good.
And then when I got to my class, it's a community college, so like any age of people can be in it. And one of my friends was like a mom. She had kids like my age, and I told her about it. And when I told her, that's when I finally realized like what he was doing. He first came in and told me that he was never gonna do Lyft again. So if he did end up getting with me, it wasn't against the rules because he said that it was his last day and stuff like that. And then he asked like if I was 18, so it wasn't illegal. And then he asked if I had a car because then like something else. And I was like, oh my god, this guy like is a creepy little creepy man.
He probably asked if you have a car, so it's like then it would be like, oh, I'm just driving like a friend, you know?
Yeah, maybe something like that. It was just like, oh my god. And I will never forget. Yeah, he was just like, what? You're such a beautiful girl. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I was like,
yeah, no, that reminds me of the things that I see in the documentaries about like, this is what he said when he got her into his car.
Oh,
yeah.
like, yeah.
Okay, and sad news, Joe, do you remember the guy in the movie Lion, like the main character?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's hot. That's what he looked like. but he was
No!
he was a creepy version, a really creepy version of him, and I was like, I can't. I know.
I
But
forgot
yeah.
both of you find that guy hot.
Yeah.
Seth, if you can, I really feel like the movie Lion isn't that well known. So if you can, just put up a picture of the hot main character
I think like
Yeah.
yeah.
as
We
the
know
kid
actor.
form,
The
because
adult,
that's the
the
kind
him
we're
as
talking
an adult,
about.
not as a child.
They were talking about the child form, kind of creepy, but
No.
Oh, he was the little kid in that movie though was so cute.
Oh,
He
he was
was.
adorable. What was the when me and Finn watched that movie? We were about like, what was the brother's name?
like
Something
Dapu.
like
Dapu.
Gudu or
Oh yeah! Oh my God,
Gudu.
you're right.
It was
Gadoo.
Gudu.
Wasn't it Gadoo or something?
Gudu. Yeah, we're like, and we're just after that we would always just go like Gudu.
It was an amazing
Oh my
movie. It was like extremely heartfelt, so that hurt.
Yeah. Oh, I love the actors are really good.
I know they had a very like nice casting. They had good little dudes.
That was actually a really movie and book was really intense because now when I'm thinking about it, do you guys remember? Okay, really sad. Sorry, David, this is really sad. But like in the orphanage, and remember how he kind of described people just going missing?
Ugh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Stuff that's hard.
that was
And he,
really
like,
painful.
Remembered it when he was 4. Jeez.
Do you remember when he the lady that like let him into her house and like fed him and bathed him,
No.
and then
No.
she was actually trying to sell him?
Yeah, that was not.
Oh my
Very
god,
nice.
that was
Oh, what
that
was
was
the Coke? What didn't they give him
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, yeah, it was like an orange. It was an orange
Yeah,
drink.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
like came into the room like the dude. And it was like,
That, like,
the boy?
That honestly shows you how traumatic these different things were for him because he was like 3 to like 5, and you only
You don't remember
like,
a lot from then.
yeah, but only like really traumatic or like really emotional things. So that shows you like in the moment it was really traumatic.
Yeah,
'Cause we
I
heard it, like 30 years later.
I only remember a handful of things from when I was that age. A very, 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 very little things. And even then, I don't remember what age I was in that memory. I have to rely on my parents to be like, oh, damn, you remember that? No, yeah, you're like 3.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Ugh.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay. Does anyone else have a story?
I have a story. It's
Okay.
kind of like related to kind of like like guys hitting on you.
Okay.
So David, just want to let you know that this was at the hospital or like the emergency room, and
God,
I
this.
was having a kidney stone, which I didn't know at the time.
Always.
So like I went there and then I left because they're like, we don't know what it is, and it's fine,
Yeah.
And then we came back because the pain came back, and I was sitting outside and it was pretty dark, and I was waiting for my mom to park the car to come and like bring me. And there was this dude who like sat next to me on the bench that I was sitting on. And he was like, "Are you okay?" And because like I was in a ball, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like quite possibly the worst pain. Actually,
Yeah.
it is the worst pain I've ever had.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh no, like what's wrong?" And I was like, "Oh no, we're just like we're here to figure it out, and blah blah blah." And then he's just like, "Oh, that really sucks." And then he was like, your glasses look really cute on you. And I'm like,
Flawless
thanks.
execution.
And it just started getting like, it was just really creeping me out. And then
Ew.
and this was like, I was literally having the worst pain in my life, and I was like forcing like, thank you. And then like he like my mom finally came, and like we went in and we sat down, and then he sat next to me. I didn't know because I was like in a ball. But apparently he sat next to us, and then he like asked if I needed a barf bag to like my mom. And he was like in his like 20s or 30s, and I definitely like I have a baby face, and I am very small. Most
That
people
is
think I look
disgusting.
14,
Yeah.
You do look
and so
14.
it's very creepy.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad because a lot of like,
Sorry.
well, I'm like I'm a guy, but like when I was a girl back then, or like thought I was, I every girl is almost trained to like be polite over anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
like
like-
why a lot of girls have like get like attacked and stuff, and a lot of guys will use their politeness against them, which is really sad.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is it okay if I have another kind of hitting on story?
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Here.
for it.
Okay.
Here are the creeps.
Well, it wasn't as much, but there was like me and these two girls, and we had like two campuses in my old school, and so like one was the online, the other wasn't. It was like there,
Mhm.
and so like we were walking to the main place, and we saw these guys working out outside. And we're like, oh, and then we're
ooh.
like, ooh, and then we went to go take the alleyway to like we took an alleyway to go to the campus, and we were walking, and it was like dark, and
Ooh.
there was like these planters on the walls that had like dying plants because there was no light, and we didn't see this guy until we were almost outside of the alleyway, and he was like, hey ladies, and then we were
Ugh.
like we like ran away, like we just screamed and ran. Poor dude, but like, oh my god, don't
Yeah,
do that.
no,
Don't feel
he just
bad for the
wanted
dude.
directions.
Jesus.
He just wanted directions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, he was like sitting up the planter, and we didn't see him until like the last second, and he scared the crap out of us. And we were like running to the campus, and then what happened was like, I think it was one of my friend's friends, like started scooting up like on a scooter really fast at us. And he was like, a boogaboo, and then we were like freaked out even more. Oh my god! Because I thought it was him for a second because I didn't know who he was.
And he went a boogaboo.
Ooga
Okay.
Boogity boogity.
That actually reminds me of a story that's not even on my list. Wow, look at me going off script. So my brothers and I. Oh, sorry, Joe. Were you finished with your story?
Oh yeah, I was.
Okay, good. I just like took over because I just remembered something. So my brothers and I were getting food or something, and funny enough, we were actually walking to church. That sounds really weird, but my mom like she couldn't drive us to church on time, so we had to get dropped off early. So we were like, oh, I guess we'll go get something to eat before church. So we were like at like a what's it called, like a strip mall, I guess. We were at a strip mall, and we're walking towards the church, so we had to cross like the strip mall. So we were like, instead of using like the sidewalk, like let's just walk in the middle of the street all the way straight,
Genius.
like through the parking spots and stuff. Genius, I know. And we were doing that, and then this homeless, I'm more than positive he was homeless, and he had like a bag with him or something, and he was running towards us, like yelling, running towards us. And Seth, like, I turned to Seth, like, oh, fun fact, David, Seth, our editor, is actually my brother. So Seth, like, he's my older brother, so I looked towards him, and I saw the panic on his face, so that I started panicking. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna die. This homeless guy with, like, a bag full of food is running towards us.
Was he yelling, or was he just running at you silently?
No, he was yelling. I remember he was yelling, not yelling at us, but just yelling, just random noises, just yelling.
Oh.
And so Seth and I start running the other way, and then the guy was too. And then my other brother Jonah was like, "It's fine." Like, I don't know, Jonah was super calm, so he was just like normally walking. And then we turn, and like he is way faster than Jonah because Jonah wasn't running. And then we realized, wait, he's not coming towards us. He's just running past us. And then we were running past and he's like, sorry guys. And then he kept running and screaming. Like, it was so weird.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
It was like slow motion. He turned towards us. Oh, sorry guys. And then kept going. Yeah.
That's great.
Oh my god. Oh.
Unfortunately, it looks like we only have time for one more short story.
Well,
So-
Finn, you should tell your mason jar story.
Oh, yeah. I do have that one. However, I feel kind of bad that it's his, and I actually have another Uber story from...
Okay.
Dude, I feel like both of them are going to be decently short. You can tell both of them because the mason jar one's really funny.
That's true. Okay, I'll save that one for the end. The first one, we are still in LA. I can't remember if this was like I think he was our first Uber driver that we got like from the airport.
Was this, you said LA?
No, Las Vegas. Sorry.
Oh, Las Vegas. Okay, I'm picturing the scene. Okay, Las Vegas.
Dry, sad, and so there's this there's our Uber driver is like he was really kind, but he was so negative. Like I can be known for my really like just kind of like bleak outlook sometimes when I'm feeling crummy, but this guy, Jesus, I feel so bad. He was I loved him though. He was this big black guy from Louisiana. And so he had like the southern accent.
Oh, I love that.
Which I loved.
Yes.
But he was just telling us like, oh my god, it was the poverty of Louisiana and the poverty of Las Vegas and like the crappiness of being an Uber driver. And I was like, man, that sucks. But like, you have like a birthday recently or something? What other things can you talk about, please? I don't want to be sad. And it was awful. He was just like, yeah, the crime rates are super high in Louisiana, and my parents live down there, and I visited for Christmas, but it sucked, and something. It was like, oh man, I'm sorry. Is really all I could think of.
You know what's even worse to think about is that's what he thinks about like every day, probably.
I know that
like it's
that's
not
what
just
hurts.
Because that, like, especially if you just said, like, he just, like, about Christmas and stuff like that already happened, he's thinking about it a lot. That's so sad.
Aww.
Let's not end with that story. Okay, no. That story, I have one last one before we have to go. It didn't actually happen to me. I heard this from a friend. But he was with his mom in, I forgot, it was probably like a Jack in the Box in LA, but it was in like a sketchier part of LA. So there were like bars on the windows out front, and they had like the super thick plastic with the bars in between you and the cashiers. So it wasn't the best part of town in LA. And he was there with his mom, and they were standing in line, and he told him as like this like very very tall he wasn't fat, but he was like husky dude was behind him, and he was like, hey, like he said to my friend who was standing behind his mom, he was like, hey, he was like, huh? And he's like, your mama's got nice toes. And he's like, his mom was wearing like sandals or something. It was just, It's one of those short stories, and like they obviously just like stood in line, got their food, and left. But it's one that stuck with me, and it's just freaking hilarious.
Did he ever tell his mom?
Yeah. No, I'm sure he did.
It's just so funny that he told the son, like,
not the mom.
You got a good mom because she's got nice toes.
Your mama's got
Do you know who has nice toes?
Who's got nice
Finn.
toes? Finn's got nice toes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ella's like, wait, does he?
They're a little hairy.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Like,
they're a little grimy.
Not
They're a
the
little
top
hobbity.
of his feet.
A little hobbity.
I'm not a feet person, but his feet are very clean.
Oh no, because he's very really like I don't even know how to describe it. Just a freak when it comes to cleaning his feet.
I am not afraid, dude. You know me. Like at your house, when you like step in something, you're like, "Oh crap, I gotta go clean my feet." Like with like in the bathtub with soap and everything. If that happens to me, I'll probably just like get a wipe and it'll bother me for a little bit longer. But
No, I'm not talking more about like your bed.
No,
Like, you have to scrub your feet with hot water and Dove soap.
Because no, not Dove.
He's got to keep them pristine for the money.
Yeah,
he's selling feet pics.
I am. Don't tell
Finn,
me.
I want to shave your legs someday.
Oh my god, shave or wax?
Oh, shave. You would die if I waxed. Oh my god.
Oh, you think so?
Oh my god, it
you
hurts
don't?
so bad.
I kind of want to try it. I want to take a portion of my leg.
We're not even calling you a wimp. Like, we're not calling you a wimp for.
I know, I know. Waxing is extremely painful. I want to but now I want to see how much I can endure with that. Like, there's a video from I think it was from the 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell. For anyone who doesn't know the name, loser. He's like the main guy in the office. He's the boss, where he's like, I embarrass myself constantly. Perfect impression. But there's a part where they're waxing his chest.
Waxing?
They're waxing his chest. They're waxing his chest. No, but they're like waxing his chest, and of course they don't do any like special effects. They actually wax his chest, and so they get his live reaction from it, and it's hilarious. I've watched the clip probably like 7 times. I'll need to show you guys. But
unlike Finn, I don't like to watch people in pain. I don't find that funny.
It's hilarious.
Oh god, you're mean.
As long as it's not like a starving child or like I don't know, old people can be kind of funny when they fall down. But
dang.
Dude,
heartless.
Yeah,
I'm not heartless. I am. I know what's funny.
I know what's funny.
I know what boys like.
Oh my god. All right.
On that
think it's
note,
about time, you guys.
Yep,
Thanks,
we're gonna have to
Seth.
end it here. Thank you, Seth.
Love you, Seth.
For
Thanks,
editing
David,
the episode.
I miss your sexy body, Seth.
Oh wait, I guess to give David a cute little sneak peek for next episode, we're gonna have a special guest.
Oh
yeah,
special guest. We won't give out their name.
Before we go, Seth, dance for us.
Dance.
Dance. Look at him
Seth.
go. That's a great dance. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you,
Thanks, Seth.
David. Thank
Love
you,
you,
everyone
Seth.
in between.
Bye.
All
Love
3
you.
of you.
Love you, David.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.